Hey guys, Vilisink back again with Raid Shadow Legends, and in today's video I wanted to show you quickly something. Obviously you know of the fusion that we're doing right now. It's Mother Sibel, and you know I also got one of these fine looking young ladies from Champion Training, but I had the option to fuse one more. I had all the rares. If I put in the time I could have potentially got Girosian or Toph, but I decided to fuse Magnarr, and I want to talk about him because he's more than just a HP burn kind of, like, he looks like the type of champion that you'd put in HP, defense, accuracy, speed, and that's all you would kind of think of. But this dude is so much more, and I'm really it was a difficult decision between the remaining epics, but Magnarr just stands out. And first, well, he has one eye that's made of fire in the helm, if you can notice that, and he has just horns on his head, I guess, and skulls. A little egg for everybody. Look, somebody's trapped a soul. They got trapped. Is now trying to pull the ashy remains out of his back, I'm assuming. I never noticed he had a tail, so that's weird. That freaks me out now. But yeah, apart from that, he's cool. Design. Palladium always knock designs out. If only the team that took care of that and they hope to actually take care of the community, it'd been a hell of a better place. So quickly, we should have went to index. So I wanted to talk about this dude. He looks so much. He looks cool, but he is so much better. I think he's so much better than people may think. So first and foremost, HP based champion. The stats 20,970. Really nice. A solid base HP to start with, no complaints. Attack 837. It could be higher, could be lower. 837 is still quite rounded for this type of champion. It could potentially, if it was higher, I would not complain. Defense 1060. Again, just to go with the HP. If you're building them tanky, the HP being high gives you a solid base. The defense being over 1000 gives you a solid base for your 50 and 60% pieces of gear that you want to put on them. 100 speed is nothing to be smirked at. That is a fantastic starting speed. 100 speed, hell yeah. Standard crit rate, crit damage, 15 and 50%. And resist is 30. So we'll resist some debuffs if you throw some more on. I have no problem with people getting resist, even if like they're a debuffer or something like that. A stripper. Not that kind of stripper, know what I mean. Accuracy is at 15, so there is a base accuracy for applying debuffs, and if you look at him, that's kind of what you're going to think. You have to do with something like fire. A great example of somebody that is nothing like what they should be is Frostbringer. Her crap is like Q reduction, and she's got snow, and she does nothing even remotely close to that, so random fact for you. But anyway, quick look at the kit. Attacks one enemy, 45% chance. It can be booked to a 65% chance to place the big version decreased defense for 2 turns. Has a 100% chance instead if the target is under a HP burn debuff. So if you pair him with a faster Acoth or a Tyrant Drexstar, anybody that would put out HP burn to go before this dude, it could be quite nice. But in general, I like the decreased defense. It could be argued about putting the 100% chance if they're under a HP burn debuff. It depends on the team you face. There might be really high resistance, so it's a little bit of a stipulation. I'm 50-50 on it, but otherwise, decreased defense, I'm quite happy with that. Percussive round, attacks all enemies, places an extra hit on enemies without HP burn debuffs. Interesting, because I've heard that can smack. So it has a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn on enemies under HP burns. So has a chance of placing a stun debuff. So under HP burns, you get hit once with a chance of being stunned, but if he attacks you and you are not under a HP burn, because it's applying a HP burn, you get hit twice. Now that's the interesting part. The second, I've seen this hit like 70, 80k. It's ridiculous. He really, as a champion, I'm so happy I fused this guy. So, Fan the Flames attacks one enemy, but it's a debuff spread. It takes 2 random debuffs from the target and places them on all enemies under HP burn. Again, if you go in quickly, you use Drextar to provoke, you put in Tyrant or you put in Akoth to get the HP burns out. He can spread it, but you would hopefully have your decreased defense, weaken, decreased attack, like your Poisoner, maybe going first if that was the team we were building, because he'll just spread it all. He will not spread Fear, True Fear, Freeze, Provoke, Sleep or Stun, but it still means there's HP burn, there's Poison, decreased attack, decreased defense, decreased accuracy, decreased speed. There's still a lot of debuffs that this can spread, and that's extremely interesting, the debuff spread. Something that really it will be very cool to try that out, especially 3-turn cooldown. Passive. Well, this is a bit of a, doesn't look it, but this is a fantastic passive. This champion heals by 1% of their max HP every time anyone in the battle takes damage from a HP burn debuff. So whether he applies HP burn debuffs or not, he's healing. And the more damage you do, like in Spider, he's potentially going to heal himself straight back up again. Aura is next. Increases allied defense in Doom Tower battles by 30%. Quite nice. HP based champion, defense based aura. Doom Tower, he will be a fantastic asset to you. But his whole kit is fantastic. I like this debuff spread, especially if I have decreased defense. All the basic debuffs up first, I can spread them. That's cool. He has feasibility for Spider, just everywhere, but the main thing that interests me is percussive round. Places an extra hit on enemies without HP burn. This dude can smack. Being a HP based champion, give him his crit rate, give him some, although if you're building him for his debuffs, I wouldn't. You don't want a lot of damage if you're trying to mess around with the HP burn. You want to keep people alive and have them slowly burn to a crisp. But with this champion, Magnarr, I would build him a full nuke. Absolutely would build his ass a full nuke. There's so many videos, 70, 80k hits, when all you have to do is make sure there's nobody with HP burn. He'll just smack anybody he wants, think an extra hit, probably close to the same damage. On like an arena where I've seen him being used, you could build him defense and just as a debuffer for Doom Tower. There's so much you can do with this champion. His A1 is quite nice in a sense. It's still a decreased defense. It's the big version though. It's single enemy, so he will have a use 1000%. But if you have the HP burn debuff, it just increases your chance. It's not necessarily important. I would build this guy a full nuke. So now we've seen his kit, he's a debuff spreader. He places an extra hit on people. What gear would I put him into? Let's take a quick look at the gear sets. People may have this champion. They may not know that he can smack really hard. If not, I recommend you look at some Ash, or I think Murder did a video also. It shows you exactly what he can do. So you can build him defensively, or you can build his ass as a nuke. So if he's nuking people, crit rate sets, crit damage sets, perfect. So if he's going nuke, you're not necessarily going for accuracy. You could still get accuracy in the build somewhere, but you'd be focusing on more damage. He heals from his passive. I wouldn't do lifesteal. I mean, potentially Fury could be an interesting niche set. Frenzy is very much possible. Arena, immunity, yes. Relentless would be good for him. Savage would be good. He has AoE. I'd place him on a stun set, 1000%. I would potentially try Retaliation and Avenging. I'm not saying I would potentially. I'm just looking for damage-based sets. Cruel, yes. The Divine Offense, crit rate, Swift Parry, keep him alive, I'd put him in that as well. Maybe Affinity Breaker and Fatal, Frostbite type of thing. If you're building him Nuke, you've got to go for that type of sets. But if you want to keep him, if you want to keep Magnarr alive, and you want to have him as a debuffer, then you would go defensive, and would be the opposite, like life, defense. Even accuracy and resistance, depending on where you took him. I don't think you'd need lifesteal, because he will heal himself. Maybe regen be a waste. He's high HP, so you keep him in a shield set to help the team out. Wouldn't help him because he heals off of his passive, but it would help your teammates. I still maybe go stun, like your immortal sets, divine life sets. He's just got so many uses, and look at the design of him. He's just so badass, and he can hit 70, 80k because I've seen it. He absolutely can. Just ask this poor guy on his back. Look, he's got a face, he's trapped. He ain't going anywhere. He's going to burn for the rest of time. Try to see if there's any little hidden faces anywhere else. No. See if there's any little, like a fire, like a little snake head type of thing in it. See, like a claw there. So no, it just has a tail, which I find really weird. I like the face in his back. He can smack, and I really wanted to tell you guys about it because he hits like a damn truck. So you can use him defensively, build him like you would a tank with accuracy. How I'm going to build him is, I want to look at that relentless gear I got. I want to combine that relentless gear with potentially crit damage, crit rate. I might even make him slower. Put him into a savage set. He's such a badass champion. I think people are just coming around to how good he is. And I think we're going to see a lot more people putting out content around with this champion. And they're going to be telling you, instead of a debuffer, build him a nuke. A great example of this is Torm in the Cold. You can build him with high accuracy, or you can trick everybody. You won't expect it. Just build his ass a lot of damage, and he will flatten people. So, I want to talk about Magnarr. The one I chose to fuse. It was a very difficult choice, but I feel I've made the right one. I know he can nuke, I've seen it. You know, you can build him on an offensive or a defensive type of way. Right guys, if you have him, look into this champion. He will be really good for your account. I guarantee there's a use for him. You know. And until next time guys, keep winning, stay safe. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video.